All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Driveway Engineer. Got my little igloo dogs with me. Today is a big day for the Dodge as it continues to be saved from turned into electric Kias. It's my 440. It's 95% ready to go. I had a little problem. This is an Edelbrock Street Master 440 intake, which is an old vintage. They actually marketed these as having 50% more torque or something like that. 50 foot-pounds more torque. I don't remember. It was designed for torque in the 70s. And I'm not claiming that this is an awesome intake. It's just vintage and it's cool and I like it. And it's a single plane, but it's a low rise with small runners, so it shouldn't actually kill torque the way that everybody's going to say. But I digress. I'm finally ready to put this in the truck. That's what's happening today. So I need to button up the valve covers. I need to get the carb lift plate on it. I had a little problem. I don't know what the deal was, but these holes weren't lining up. I had to go in and clearance them. I got number one on top dead center. I'm ready to stab that distributor. These Mopar distributors go in with like a buttload of timing, mechanical timing in them. So what you want to do with a low compression motor like this to kind of fool it is advanced cam advance. So you can put a cam in advanced and you can crank in like 20 degrees of initial and it'll make it snappier than it would be if it actually had a decent compression ratio, and you can kind of trick it that way. But so if you put that in at like 20 degrees initial, it'll crank in like 30 more degrees of time and you'll wind up with 54. So you have to limit that some way, and the way that we used to do it is we would take the rotor off and there's like a slot, and as RPM advances, this bar slides through the slot and you would weld it up and limit it that way. But now they make a cool plate. I don't have it. The point is, you're not going to see this engine run today. I don't have everything I need for it to run, like spark plug wires, like a carb spacer. So, but it is going to get married to that transmission, which is not the transmission it came with. That's still sitting at the trans shop. They're still playing games. I'm more than a little irritated with them. I went and picked that one up for $100 off Marketplace. And it's another RV trans like I have or had. If they haven't taken that thing apart yet, I'm going to pick it up and put it on Marketplace for $100. And if they have, they own it now. But this has a fixed yoke, which was the problem, but not really, because I can just have the drive shaft cut with a yoke in it, with a slip in it, like a 4x4. My Toyota has slips on both ends. Marv has slips on both ends. It's common for 4x4s. So that drive shaft has to come out. It's laying there in the cross member. I'm actually going to take the cross member out as well. I've never taken the cross member out of this truck with all three engines it's had in it. I just jack the transmission up and wrestle it, which is not super fun, so I'm not going to do it this time around. I'm going to get in there and drop the cross member down. I'm going to get it up on jack stands so I have room underneath it. And my cool off-road hoist over there can't clear these lower A-arms without it being up in the air anyway. But it'll help me to get underneath it and do the stuff I need to do back on the transmission end. But yeah, it's like ready to go. So I'm going to work this morning. It's like 9 a.m. I'm going to work this morning. I'm buttoning up the few things that I need to, because there's stuff that I just don't want to do like afterwards. Like put that last cam plug in, or freeze plug in. They were out of freeze plugs when I bought them, or they only had 5 and I needed 6, so I just got another one. Manifolds installed, gaskets and whatever, new valve covers. I did a lot of the stuff to this engine because I wanted to. Like, for whatever reason, people think that I'm all about using the dirtiest, grimiest thing ever, and I'm about not spending your money unnecessarily. So it's not quite the same thing. And somehow it confuses people. But anyway, in the next 5 or 6 hours, this will be sitting in the truck. That's the point. So I will probably set you guys up on a time lapse and we'll rock and roll through this. So enjoy the show. All right, I had my first hiccup of the day. I thought I was being clever and ordering myself some spark plugs so I'd have them ready to go, because I want to put the plugs in. I'd like to put the wires on too, but I don't have wires. I wanted to put the plugs in before I dropped the engine in, so I ordered some and picked them up, and I had the wrong ones. So I was looking up parts for like a 76 Dodge with a 440. That's what I've been doing. And they have a spark plug that's straight right here. And apparently some motorhomes have a seat that's tapered. So like this wouldn't even, yeah, see I'm threading this in by hand, no problem. They wouldn't at all go, so it was immediately obvious. And I did notice that it took a way bigger 13/16 socket. And I remember when I took all the broken old ones out, they were like normal 5/8. So anyway, I got a freeze plug to drive in, spark plugs to put in, and what else? I got to deal with this. This fuel line's like super kinked, so I'm going to undo it. This uses a special like certain kind of fitting with like a seat. This side's just a nipple. But I'm going to take both off. Hopefully I can get this because it's kinked too close to really cut off and use, I think. We'll see if I can straighten it out or if I can just buy another one. But once that's done, I'm going to set this timing to like 15 degrees, drop the distributor. All I have to fix the oil pump. I'll show you guys that. But for now, you're going back on the time lapse. So, see ya. All right, so I'll show you guys this real quick. This is the oil pump, and it hangs out the side of the block, kind of. And then this is like a filter adapter cover deal. And this is the pressure right under my thumb. Is the pressure relief, like the bypass. So the guy that pulled this, when he was cutting through the engine brackets, cut all into this. Fortunately, my buddy Jacob had one, and I donated $20 to his beer fund, and he gave this to me. So his project will live on in mine. Thank you, Jacob. The seal this is just a O-ring, so I don't see any reason why it can't go right back together, and that's what I'm going to do with it. Alright, so I wanted to show you guys this real quick. On the bottom of the distributor, there's a keyway, like a screwdriver. And so I have my mark set up to where I'm at about probably 12 or 13 initial. And then I drop this in and you turn. When people say that you turn the cap until the rotor lines up with number 1, you have to pay attention. There's 2 clips, which you can see clip. But on this side, there's a little nub. And on this side of the cap, there's a little nub, which makes that number 1. And it's not like hypercritical. You can make this number 1 if you want to. The reason to do this is so that everybody knows, everybody's on the same page. So yeah, we're gonna drop that in there like so. And with this pointed at number 1, I know that I have about 12 degrees of initial, which should allow the engine to fire without any trouble. So, back to the time lapse. All right, it's been a couple hours of work and ready for lunch. I do want to show you guys this. This is an externally balanced engine. And those of you who watched my Toyota diesel swap and noticed, you know, any of the drama with the Mercedes guys insisting that they were precision balanced at the factory, my whole argument was I know they're not, because when you want something to if it was balanced, you would have to make it so they could only assemble it one way. And notice this bolt pattern's like irregular. So like these two are close together, and then this one's kind of by itself, and then these three are the same. So you can't put this on a different way. And this isn't like because I'm a stellar engineer, it's just a trick as old as time. You can only put this on one way, and it's harder to see, but the converter spacing is different also. It's off, if you will. So I can't, the converter has a weight on it, and I can't put it in the wrong spot because the bolt pattern won't let me. So we're gonna go get some lunch, and then I'm gonna come back. I haven't done a bunch of the stuff I said I was gonna do, like jack this up and get the cross member out, and I really need to do that. But first I need to take my little dogs home and get some lunch for all of us and some water, and I'll bring you guys back. All right, I didn't film after I came back from lunch, but I mean, it was just wrestling the transmission on there. The reason that I was fixated on getting the distributor in was so that when I rotated the engine for the flex plate, the distributor would rotate, and it wouldn't matter that I wasn't at top dead center anymore, although I am going to bring it back around anyway. So that's going to be a problem, and I don't think that the small booster is going to help, because I'm quite insistent that I'm going to keep using those. And then the exhaust is like pointed right at the cross member, but I did check with this pipe, and it will clear if I just, you know, use a 90. On this side it's pretty tight too, but not nearly as bad. Like if you got the right angle to the dangle, you could shoot right by it. So what else? Oh, I don't have a dipstick for this transmission. That's helpful. Yeah, I got to get the front dress on here. I actually don't have the nuts and the mounts underneath. I don't even know what it looks like underneath. I guess I can take you and look real quick. Because this is the wrong trans. Oop. Huh. That might have made things way worse for my clearance. Nah, it's okay. Because this is the wrong trans, I don't think it's going to hit the cross member at all. I thought that they had the same mount, and then the tail housing just hung way out, but I don't think that's the case. Like, well, I don't think you guys can see. It looks like the mount's hitting the cross member a little bit. I don't really know what I'm going to do here. I have to think about it. So that's the RV mount. It might be okay. I'm pretty sure it'll be okay with the stock mount, which is right there. Because the stock mount, like, diving boarded off and forward. It's like the speedo cable will plug right in. Linkage is going to hook right up for the most part. The kickdown is different because the block's way taller, but I probably should have took that mount off, but I wasn't sure how it was going to work out. I need to drop this pan, like it got full of water in the pouring rain yesterday for sure. So yeah, I need to get the water out and get the mount on if it works. I really need to get this cross member out of here, but I'm being lazy. It's just kind of in the way right now, so I don't know. I don't feel like wrestling with wrenches and trying to squeeze them into little spaces, and just getting old. But for right now, for you guys today, I'm going to head back to the house and take my little hot dogs. And then I'll be back. I'm gonna do some more stuff. We'll see. But there's always, like, the hard part's over. Now we're down to the part where I do a billion tiny little things. So, you know, it's all part of just slap a 440 in it, So, oh, I meant to look at that. I thought, I don't know if I showed you guys this. I know I showed it in the Facebook group and stuff. Yeah, it's the same. I bought this older style dash I'm going to put in next year. And this older style column because it's easier to wire. And it looks cooler. I wasn't sure if it had the same flange. I thought it did, and then it seemed like maybe it didn't, but it looks like it does. So we're gonna go cool off and have a cold drink and sit on Tuffets and relax for a little bit, and we'll be back. All right, so I don't remember where we left off exactly. The engine's in, sitting on the mounts. I just now remembered I promised a guy I would get him pictures of the mounts. I showed you on the cross member how it's a little janky, and I'm actually just going to cut some tabs on the plasma table, weld them to the cross member, and then run it so they'll be like this around that mount that's on it. Run a bolt through it and call it good, I think. This is the, I kept everything for now. That's the bracket that came off my 904, and it might be okay. I'll have to check. But between what I have here and the steel I have here and the plasma table and the fact that I know how to measure things, should be pretty good. I have an HEI module to put on here. I don't care if a Mopar Performance distributor, when working properly, works great. One fly in the ointment, actually there's two. I'm pretty sure I didn't get an alternator with this engine, and that's no huge deal, but also, yeah, you can see that. I don't know if this was like this when I got it, or if I did that somewhere along the way, but it is effed up. But no big deal, nothing I can't deal with later. A buddy of mine, Dustin, has a radiator, which is what I've never had the whole time. Today, all I'm going to do today, before I wrap this up, and that'll be the end of the video, is clean this front clip up a little bit. Obviously, at some point in time, it was white or light gray or something. Like I said, I think the whole truck might have been white or light gray. I don't really know. But I'm going to get the power washer out here and blow the cobwebs out of it real quick and fog it black. Like I said, the point of the truck is not to be a concourse restoration. It's to be fun and useful. I'll get that. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. It looks like I won't. Charcoal can go away. I don't know that it will. I guess I gotta see how it's bolted on underneath. Hopefully it's just, yeah, it looks like it's just a couple of nuts. So charcoal can go away. Those relays and shit over there can go away. I'm gonna have to cut another battery tray on the table, or a patch for that one. But we're in pretty good shape. I'm going to try to get this back on today because I want to move on to working on my Toyota, and I'm out of stuff to do, out of parts, out of budget for now. So I'll bring you guys back and show you a front clip on it. That'll be just a minute. All right, I got the front clip, at least the inside, sort of ish painted, and good enough. I'm gonna drop her down with my gantry. Remember when I built this like a year ago? Everybody said I was gonna die, and here we are a year later, and I'm not dead. So I'm gonna drop this bad boy on here, and I'll show you guys what it looks like installed. That'll be a wrap. So, if not for the internet, I wouldn't have known that I'd die if I used this gantry. Here we go. It's in there. Prego. It's in there. I took a lot of this stuff off, the emission stuff and things like that. I had to decide what I want to do for brakes. I can see clearly that my booster's gonna hit. So I don't know if I want to do hydro booster or just manual brakes. And since it's my wife's truck, I'm leaning towards hydro boost. But we'll see. That's a problem for another day. So I think it looks nice in there, at least. Thanks for watching. I will see you next time on The Driveway Engineer.